50 blades of grass, getting all the dirt. Good morning, John. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us on our 50 blades of grass. One of the questions that came up was the difference in condition in the bunkers where there's more moisture in the morning and not in the afternoon, and it might be related to sprinkling or raking and so on. Do you care to maybe just give a little comment on that?
Well, the only thing I can say is that our perimeters around greens and bunkers, they are part of the system and scheduling that irrigates. There's really no way for us to change any of those heads or try to keep the bunkers as dry as possible. We also have perimeter heads around, or perimeter pop-up heads around the bunkers, which we don't run all the time. It's just more supplemental in the summertime and such. But I don't think there's any way of avoiding the bunkers completely. We've got 65-foot throws that throw an area around the bunkers, and there's no way they could be, without full coverage with the surrounding areas, there's no way they can be really adjusted to not hit the bunkers.
So when we're when you're watering, does that take place before the crew comes out and does the maintenance activities?
Yeah, our irrigation cycles start actually at 8:30 in the evening and go to about 4 in the morning.
Okay.
And they're scheduled anywhere from 8:30 to 11. So any of that moisture there is within that time frame.
Okay. So I would imagine with the proper raking and fluffing it up, that should really reduce any particular issue. It might be a little heavier, but at least you can get through it. That's kind of my assessment.
We can. I mean, when we start raking in the morning, some of the bunkers are moister than others. The guys just do their best to turn over that sand as they go through the process.
Okay.
If it's too wet, they'll leave it and then allow it to dry out and come back and rake it again.
Okay, great. So the next question is, I see different mowing patterns on the fairways. Is there any particular rhyme or reason as to why you change it, how you change it when you give directions to the guys?
Well, we mow fairways for the most part. We try and stay on schedule 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we have 3 different directional mows that we do, either a 6-12 or a straight up and down from the tee, or just a clockwise or a clock directional 8-2, 10-4, whatever is expedient there. But it's also, we don't want to cause any continuous rutting if we follow the same path. I mean, I was actually going to introduce more of a traditional style, it's called either a tuxedo, a black and white, or whatever, where you have one side of the fairway, one direction, the other side. You've probably seen it on tour. That's kind of a time saver, but we just go with the normal up and down pattern.
And you just kind of rotate through that sequence.
We do.
Okay, with no particular rhyme or reason other than it, I guess, cutting it differently.
Oh yeah, because it'll we want to cut different directions just to make sure we're cutting the entire surface along the contours of the turf.
So another question that has come up is the stemp speed of the greens. Is that seasonal, and is it determined by yourself, or does Dom's group get involved in setting that? What's the rationale behind that? Check out the link below in the comment area to find out how a stemp meter works.
We average about a 10.5 for normal play. When we get to tournament or events, we'd like to speed them up. We have a tendency to dry them out a little bit, watch the nitrogen, just groom them for the event. And we can reach 12s, but we don't want 12s out here on a daily basis. With the amount of play, that'll be physically impossible to sustain. But that's Dom in the pro shop talks to me about green speed and such. But it goes hand in hand with again, our moisture content in the profile, the time of year.
Okay.
So
All right. And are they consistent through all the greens, generally speaking?
generally, yes. I mean, 6 and 11 might roll a little differently just
Yes.
because of the turf type.
Okay.
But we like to keep them all around maybe 11 as far as an average for all of them.
Okay. A few years ago, we had concerns about mixture of invasive grasses in the fairways. How is that issue today? Has it been resolved, under control?
There's there's no resolution there. I mean, now that I understand that we have, but there's been long talks about course renovation and such. But at this point, with the Green Committee, I don't think there's any real hardcore direction for a renovation at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to change our agronomic approach and see how we can treat our Heinz 57 turf out there. I mean, we've got bent grass, Bermuda grass, ryegrass, POA, and fescue in the fairways.
Okay.
So, and we culture generally to a cool season turf, and all these grasses want different things, the amount of moisture, fertility, and such. So, I mean, you look at number 9, that's almost all Bermuda.
Yeah.
2/3 of 18 is Bermuda, but the rest of the fairways are just a mixed bag with the exception of number 11 and partially number 6. Those are primarily ryegrass, but I haven't taken any look at to how are we going to start addressing some of these localized spots. We're going to have to come up with a game plan to address some of these areas.
Okay. The next question relates to the pathway on hole number 8 down on the right side with a right side bunker. There's a big drop off on the right side. Is there any plan to kind of fill that in with dirt or rock or something?
You're referring to the right side of the cart path.
That's correct. Yes.
Where there's native. Yes, we can fill that in. That's probably happened over time, just with the rains, erosion over, and so we'll certainly address that. That's a potential stepping hazard.
Okay. The other question, and it came up at our Green Committee meeting, and I know you addressed it. I think the members would like to get some feedback. There was some concern about the cups and it wearing and letting the pin flop around a little.
Just solve that through just changing out the flag sticks, probably getting new cups.
Okay.
To a style where they don't actually lock in, but they're a little tighter. It's just a wear and tear issue on the hosel of the cup.
Yes. Okay.
Or the flag stick, I should say.
Right. Another question came up about what are those mats over the large drains? Maybe you can respond to that.
Primarily, that's just a buffer. Those are old driving range mats that we rescued.
Okay.
And they're just to actually level off that area, so the drain's not so deep. Our mowers actually go over there and they impact the cutting units. So it gives a little buffer to the cutting units as well as level out some of the areas from turf to drain.
Great idea. And the last question is, and you can see the image on the screen, it talks about on the 12th green, a lot of patches of disease. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, that's normally during our green spray approach anyway, part of the program is fungicides. That is a particular disease, kind of a complex of diseases. Just generic name. It's a yellow patch. It's a brown ring patch.
Okay.
Number 12 just seems to have a probably particular microenvironment that's actually inducing that. As a matter of fact, right when we're done here, the greens will be sprayed.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, to wrap up, John, I hear comments consistently how great the team and yourself has done with making the course a great job. I just want to pass on the compliments to you and the rest of the team. Everyone is really impressed with the quality and the condition of the course.
good.
Well, good, John. Thank you. Thanks again for taking the time, and we'll see you next session.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Bye. Now, don't forget to send me those questions. That makes this podcast go. So remember, send them to this email address right up here. Thanks again for your help. Now, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to get notified when new podcasts come out. Thanks for listening.